Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Monday Q&A, so let's get to it. Does using straps really limit growth in one's forearms? Yeah, it can, because a lot of your forearm development is going to come from doing all of your heavy pulling. However, it is certainly possible to still build very large, strong forearms and a strong grip while you're doing a lot of strap work. And what I generally tell guys is that sometimes for a lot of your top-end work sets, for a lot of your back work, if you need to use straps, use straps. Do what you have to do. Don't shortchange your primary movers if you really need to do it, but if you do need to do it, you also need to go back and consider, do you need to be doing more grip work on top of it? And I think the answer to the latter is you need to be doing additional grip and forearm work if you're having to use straps, but go ahead and use them if that's what you have to do in the meantime to get it done, but don't neglect the other. You need to get to a point to where eventually you can do most of your pulling work without straps. So that is the way you should look at it and approach it, at least in my opinion. So they're still a valuable tool for a lot of people. I'm not anti-strap. I just don't like people to over-rely on them and not fix the problem ever. All right, next question. Jason, when is the last time you puke? You eat so much food that I want to know what it's like for you when you puke. Well, you guys know when I did that video a while back, when I went back to full vegetarian and semi-vegan and made that decision, I got really sick shortly after. And I had one morning to where I literally was just shocked by the amount of food that came up, because the night before I'd eaten a couple kilos of potatoes and a bunch of apples, and it's 10 hours later the next morning when I woke up, fasted, and I started vomiting. And the sheer amount of potatoes that came up seems like it was 3 times the volume of what I had eaten the night before over the next couple hours as I continued to bring it all up, because all that food swells in there. And it also goes to show you guys that people seem to have this idea of meal timing, and they don't realize just how slow it is until they really eat a lot of food, and you realize when you eat large volumes of food, how slow your body digests it and breaks it down. And they go on a long vomiting spree, and they're vomiting up food that they ate 24 hours ago. It gives you a much better idea of how long stuff stays in there. But yeah, for me, when it does happen, which is very rare, it is pretty bad. And it's not a pleasant experience. Just horrific. All right. Next question. Why am I bigger than my friends in terms of musculature, yet they have bigger big 3 lifts than me? I thought strength equals size. Strength does equal size, but there are other factors involved. And what I will tell most people is that, yes, there are other factors that can contribute to strength besides hypertrophy, but hypertrophy always contributes to strength. And if you suck at a big major lift and you're big, it's because you have weak muscles in there, because a lot of big guys have really weak as fuck cores who train as bodybuilders. And so therefore they can't handle big weights on a lot of the big lifts. So they have a lot of problems with stability and core muscles and things. These things are underdeveloped in most bodybuilders. And that makes their overall body weak, even though they might have really strong lats or really strong quads and things like that. And they're oftentimes very weak in the posterior chain also. So a lot of key muscles tend to be weak. But the other thing to consider there is there are other factors involved. There's individual leverages. There is your neural efficiency component. It is possible to train these other components that will make you stronger that do not directly contribute to hypertrophy, but they will still contribute to hypertrophy in the training. You will almost always, other than for very short periods of time, gain muscle mass as you are gaining strength. It is almost impossible not to do so. It's just that there are other factors that also affect strength besides the hypertrophy, which is why you can get bigger without getting as stronger pound for pound as someone who's getting all the benefits. And this is from individual to individual. It is possible for a guy to be smaller than you, even though you're even training for powerlifting, who is still beating you in all the lifts, but as he continues to get stronger at the lifts, he will gain muscle. And as you continue to get stronger at the lifts, you will gain muscle. So the stronger that you are as an individual at all of these big movements, the more muscle mass you will have. And particularly the more muscle you will gain in whatever your weakest links in the chain are. So that's where people mess up, is when they compare 2 individuals instead of realizing that, hey, that person got bigger as they got stronger rather than saying, well, why is he stronger than me, but I'm bigger than him? It doesn't work the other way, but it works person in that individual. So that's the way that you have to look at it. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on it today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.